Hi, hello, and welcome. My name is Paula Rowe, and I am the founder of Soul Awakening Project, and this is Global Unified Breathing. I'd like to ask you if you have any questions or you'd like to get in touch with me, please just walk over to the contact page on Soul Awakening Project and send me an email, and I'll get back with you. So, the name of the show today is Follow the Yellow Brick Road, The Way Home. And how this kind of happened is I was reminded this week as the beginning part of my journey, how I got here where I am today, with an understanding of breath that came about just through experience after experience after experience. And so the reason I was reminded this week of that is to explain and to also request and ask that if you're watching this, maybe you feel that you don't understand a lot of things that are going on, but it doesn't matter if the mind doesn't, because the heart knows all. And if you could just remember that sentence right there. The heart knows all. The heart has intelligence. The heart is connected to source and creator. And we're being called now to expand more in through our hearts. So the way home, it actually ended up being a page on Soul Awakening Project, the website. And the reason is because it was the journey of healing that revealed a universe, a world, a human that I had no idea was how many layers there were to it, how much information there was inside of our own body. And so in the very beginning, I think it was in 2009, the logo for Soul Awakening Project was a spiral. And this is what it looks like. And at that time, it was designed and thought up by me, but I had no idea what it was really going to mean years later. Today, it looks more like this. And what that means is from the center, which is where we always stand in our own world, in our own universe. We're always standing within the center. But also, this is us standing in the center, receiving with every inhale the light of God. With every breath, we inhale and receive the light of God. So, what I was reminded of this week is what this is going to do for our planet, standing in the center, in the middle of the galaxy, breathing in and receiving. So before we get into that, I'd just like to say if we could focus our energy together, if you could participate by just closing your eyes, I'd like to read an invocation. Beloved Mother, Father, God, all that is, I now speak to the heart of God. Show us all your children. Guide us, and so it is. So, thank you if you participated and just closed your eyes and listened to the sound of my voice. Self-acceptance is appreciation for all of humanity. And the more we can accept this now moment where we are in our lives with whatever's going on, the easier it is to be teachable, to hear words that might shift a belief system. And so the tools on the website, on the page called The Way Home on Soul Awakening Project, are just tools for evolving and coming home to self. We're all going to end up there, hopefully. The sooner the better, of course. If we could all just get focused on the same energetic frequency coming in to our hearts, from the heart of God, going out from our heart, everything that's given to us, then just think how much quicker that we might evolve into the I am race, the race that comes from love, that speaks love language, that resonates in love. So there's a unique energy that happens when we come together with a focus to breathe with the spiral in mind. And the focus that I saw, this was a dream. Soul Awakening Project was a dream that I had every night. For a long time, and I didn't understand it at first, but I kept writing it down, and it developed into what it is now today. So the heart space is connected to the heart of God, our heart space, but we don't seldom stop and really think about that. So the global unified breathing is all about unifying and focused breath, so that with intention and focused of an idea, that focused breath out of us, coming in from God, out of us, me standing in the middle of my world, and my breath first goes around me. Then my breath, my exhale, starts to expand and move out around me, expanding more and more. And I'm really aware when this starts to happen. And it just happened with understanding more about the breath and being able to sense the energy. So this, I saw, was becoming something that if we all did this together, and at that time, it was just a note in a notebook. It was an idea that was fun to think about, but I took full responsibility, considering that I was breathing every single day, to send this energy that I was receiving out to the globe. And so one of the things that we do is understanding the field. Our field, when we're thinking about our heart space, we can affect a change within our field, normally about 3 feet out, which means we can affect a change in a room. It's like when somebody's really expanded with whatever they're feeling, most of us, and even now more so than ever, are picking up on what they're putting out. So it's also the same thing. What if we were focused? We came together to unify with the idea that the breath knows. The breath has the understanding. It comes from God. It's an energetic frequency that can shift and change energy. It's part of the field. The field meaning the space, the air, the energy around us, but the field, the bigger field. So when I was seeing this as a purging also. So right now on our planet, it's quite obvious that anything that was hidden, not only personally inside of us, is being exposed. And the more we try to keep things pushed down, the more uncomfortable it becomes. And that is privately and universally for everything. So anything that does not resonate with its pure intention, when it was first breathed forth from God, it was perfection, it was ease, it was grace, it was beauty, it was divine. Anything that does not resonate at those frequencies is up. It's in the air. It's everywhere. It's in our lives. It's around us. So being responsible is what God's trying to say to a lot of us. Take responsibility. And it doesn't mean push against. It means with grace to change that energy, because I am responsible. Collectively, we are the ones that we have been waiting for, that we are waiting for. We are it for ourselves in our life. This breath leads into the ability to heal those things that we're trying to hide from ourselves. In the world itself, nothing can hide anymore. But we can enact an energy field together and send the breath with the frequency of transmutation, which means transmuting it back to its original core cause and effect, which is divine love, divine will, divine grace. We can do that. We can do that for ourselves first, which is most important. The more we feel at ease in this world and allow these things to keep happening and being responsible, the more we enact the change in our own lives. It affects the field everywhere around us, in our home, and then maybe out, and then maybe out. Pretty soon we're affecting change. When we get together as groups and breathe, when we were physically getting together, I was always 100 miles out. Let's go for it. Let's breathe 100 miles out the frequency of peace and goodwill towards all, and equality. There is equal, not one up, not one down, equality. That divine energy that everything gets neutralized by. Because eventually what's going to happen with the breath is that you're going to start to realize that at every single moment you have a choice how you're going to react, respond, reply, or not. And sometimes what's going to happen, the more you take responsibility for the field around you, it's most important to just be neutralized about it. Divine neutrality, I've mentioned this before. Leading into that, the soul, the life becomes soul-based life. And when that's happening, there's a higher understanding that just kind of comes. And it's really beautiful because you understand, but you don't need to analyze. It's a knowing, which is really exciting. Collectively, global unified breathing is about breathing and changing, taking the breath from the heart of God and changing the field around us. This stream of energy is what we then send out from our hearts out to our field around us. So if a lot of you have noticed, wrong side, the picture behind me, the violet flame. So this is something I learned about quite a few years ago. And this is also a tool that all of us can use. The power of this divine frequency is what it is. It's transmutation through a flame that is the color violet. And it's something that we learn to use to transmute anything that feels discordant within our body, around us, or a thought process. Anything negative that we're feeling. Instead of looking out there, we own what's happening in our field. I'm not liking something. I don't like the way it sees, or I don't like the way I hear what I hear. So that flame is there behind me always to remind all of you to utilize the all-consuming violet flame. And we're going to do some more things on that, because it's definitely a tool with breath work, especially global unified breathing, because when we breathe together, first we need to clear the field, our own field, so we can then implant the thought of what we're going to focus on when we breathe. And this becomes like a clearing where the energy is cleared. And we all have these energies that happen around us. Some of them are coming from inside of us. And it's about, it doesn't take a lifetime. It takes the desire to use this violet consuming flame as a tool in your toolbox to transmute something that's maybe been bothering you for a while, and letting it go and just keep putting it in the flame. It's almost like seeing this flame burn away something around you. So in meditation with the violet consuming flame is that I always say our prayers and acknowledge the mighty I am presence, which is the divine heart of God. And when you sit within meditation, within that pillar, in the I am presence, in the divine heart of God, you ignite at the same time the all-consuming violet flame, which is burning away anything that you might have placed in your own field. And that is how you clear yourself daily, sometimes every hour, whatever you have to do, so that the more light that you hold, that you're releasing this dark or negative energy out of you and from around you, the more light that you hold, the more you affect the field, everyone, everything, what's happening. Remember, on the planet right now, we're at this, what they call a tipping point. And so what that means is that we need to tell people it's time, we're done, we've got to get on with the positivity of God's grace that's being offered to us from the heart of God. Every day you have it offered to you just by taking a breath and remembering you're breathing in. There were some major planetary alignment conjunctions that happened in the last 6 months that put planet Earth in direct alignment within the galaxy that has never, ever been before. But also, we have taken our rightful place within that alignment. It's almost like we got knocked out of alignment. We were off balance. And because we were off balance, it was like we forgot. And this is all about coming together and trying to help you to remember some of these things. If I can receive these types of things just by breathing and being aware of what's being revealed to me and coming out and going, wow, that was pretty incredible. And then sitting with that and then, really sharing it with other people and realizing sometimes when all of a sudden I'll go and listen to somebody and I'll realize they're talking about the exact same thing. That is the collective. That is the collective in that realm that I'm connecting with. Collectively, I'm picking up on the same thing that they're picking up on. So this is how we're going to enact a big, huge change. And we can do this now. We don't have to wait. We just need to come together. Global unified breathing is about that. It's about coming together and unifying with the breath, sending our breath from our hearts out into surrounding ourselves first, using the violet flame to purify our energy, and then focusing and sending that out around and around and around. And this is how it kept looking in the dream, is that standing in the center, unifying, clearing with the violet flame, and then all of a sudden this spiral was going around and around from the earth, around the earth. The more we do something like that together, the more we can affect change. So that's really what this is all about, is coming together. So I'm going to open up the chat right now, because I'm just wondering if anybody has any comments or questions, anything. And we're getting, this is the third time that I've been on Global Unified Breathing, my show. And on the next show, next Sunday, it will be 1 month. And so if you'd like to register, go to the website, Soul Awakening Project, because the Global Unified Breathing website is under maintenance. And so join, so you can receive the link to come together, to breathe together and unify, first of all, and then send the breath out. That's the most important thing. That, I believe, is why God put this on my heart. It wasn't some idea that all of it just kind of, it was an idea that was there for a while, but unspoken. And then I couldn't stop what happened. It just kept happening. I kept seeing this happening. I kept seeing this happening personally and globally. So there must be something to it, something really powerful, because my understanding of the breath is that it is that powerful. Remember, we all breathe the same air. It is holy. It is from the heart of God. It is everything. It creates great change within a person. So we really, and answer, so to the Stefan who's on the chat, of course we can breathe together soon. So it's really important that we remember about the power of the breath. That's how I got started with all this, is realizing if it could heal the brain injury that I had, if it could remember, just like I was talking last week about the glass of water that has the mud stuck in the bottom, the more water you put in the glass, eventually it purifies. Our bodies are the same way, using oxygen. The oxygen being poured into the body, purifying the cells, releasing everything. That is exactly what's happening on the planet too. Everything is being purged at a very deep level. So this energy, and we want to make sure that this energy is transmuted into what its original core was. It was divine love, divine grace, divine beauty, divine abundance. It was everything that we could ever imagine. It was the heaven on earth that God intended it to be for us. There was no sense of doom or gloom. It was the beauty that the remembering can happen through the breath work also. So I've seen this, I've experienced moments of this when I'm fully aware that it is here. So the more light your body holds, the more you let go and you open up to this divine breath, the more light your body holds. Remember what I said. It also reveals and opens the superconscious mind. In your superconscious mind, you're tapping into your own living library. That is every bit of your cells. Your cell remembers everything. Your soul has compacted all of it in the cellular structure of your body. You have full memory of everything. And all we need to do is breathe. And we can remember. So that was what started to happen for me. The remembering of what we need to do, how we get there. And especially, most importantly, why you're here, what you're meant to do, and how you serve. How do you serve? What is important to you when it comes to that? How you serve humanity, or do you serve self? So there's many things that were revealed in that that time frame that all that information was kind of just coming out. And like, thank you that I'm a writer, that I like sitting down and writing my experiences, because sometimes they don't make sense. They're so elevated that later on, and I have kept those writings since 1989, when I entered into training to become a breath worker, which took about 2.5 years for me to be certified. And that adventure was specifically to heal my brain injury, but I didn't know that I was going to become a breath worker. So it was my honor to make that decision and to be involved in that. And since then, it's been expanding and expanding and expanding. That's the beauty of the breath. There's no limit to what you can come to an understanding about who and what you are and what you're meant to do. And what's my next greatest idea coming from the direct heart of God? You just never know. So it's a play field. It's like a playground. We all can join in. This is how we create heaven on earth, from our heart space. And most of us, I think, are getting that idea now. We're starting to understand through the heart, everything through the heart. The mind has its functions, and we can tell it what its job. It's really good for certain things, but we have to rely on the high heart, the intelligence of the heart. So most of us didn't understand that for a long time. How does my heart think? The heart knows all. It's always been true that it's checking in with how I feel about something, not how I'm thinking. So we always used to get told, how do you think? What do you think? What are you thinking about? Now it's how you feel. And for some of us, it's really difficult, especially some of the people that I'm seeing now with breathworking clients are newly awakened. They don't even know what frequency means. They don't understand energy at all. But I'm so blessed and so for them to find me, because that is my beginnings. That is how I was. And I'm attracting that kind of like, what's going on? I don't understand anything. And so the beauty of it is that I get reminded all the time of my beginnings, how I was looking for one thing. And my breath worker in the beginning said to me, well, we just never know. It's a very spiritual modality of healing. We have no idea what's going to happen. And I'm glad, because that made me kind of relax and realize it didn't matter what I thought I needed or what my mind told me I needed to fix. I was about to enter into a journey, a spiritual journey of awakening, and which led to eventually the Soul Awakening Project. And remember, I ended up being the project. I didn't know that either. So it was really beautiful that I ended up all of a sudden realizing one day, years ago, I think I'm the project. I think I'm the one that's been getting worked on all this time. And, my desire to help all of you is great through the breath. And so please send me an email if you have any questions. I'd be more than happy to make a phone call, or we can talk on Zoom. Global Unified Breathing, hopefully the website will be up this week. And I don't know, and it's okay. Everything is good. There is a divinity happening now that we need to just stay focused on our field of energy, ours, so that when we come together to breathe, we can enact a great change. So once again, I really appreciate all of you being here. Thank you for taking the time, and I love you. And if you soulawakeningproject.com, go to the contact page and shoot me an email. All right. See you next week. Bye.